Hello YouTube, this is Salam. In this video I'm going to build a frame to support these two forks. I've been shopping for pallet forks to go with this tractor. This tractor equipped with the skid steer quick attach. Locally, the whole setup cost about $650. Online it costs a little bit cheaper, but then you have to pay for shipping. And shipping little bit expensive because this is heavy object. I found these two forks on Craigslist and I only paid $20 for them. They have little bit wear over here in this area. The guy who sold them to me, he said they rated for 4,000 pounds. This tractor, the relief valve for the hydraulic is set at 1,350 pounds. So this will be sufficient enough for the load that I'm going to pick with this tractor. I'm going to show you how I'm going to build the frame. I hope you enjoy this video. These forks, they measure 4 3/4 wide by 1.5 inches. The inside dimension for the rail from here to here, 16 1/8 inch. This way, at the bottom and at the top, it measures 3/8 inch. These shaped like this. It measures about 3/4 inch at this side. I'm going to build the rail out of 1/2 inch material. I'm going to space them a little bit over 16 inches, and then I'm going to ground them so these forks will slide easy on the rails. I cut all the metal to build the frame. They all 1/2 inch thick stock. This is 1.5 inch wide. I cut 2 of them to 45 inches. I also cut 2 1.5 inch, 13 inch long. These 2 inch stock, I cut 2 of them 19 inches. These two I'm going to splice them to make 45 inches. I grounded them so I could fill them with weld and the weld will be strong. This is a 3 inch stock, 45 inches. 4 pieces, 3 inch stock, 19 inches. 2 of them 13 inches. And 2 of them 10 inches. This over here, 3 inch stock, 49 inches. These will be the 2 rails that will hold the fork in place. I have to notch the top part to support these locks. I'll show you how to do it. I just thought to share this measurement in case somebody duplicating what I'm doing. We have deer meat for lunch. This is from the buck I shot on the video I posted on YouTube, Buck 2020. Panda is guarding the food. She's gonna get her share. The deer meat is done and the vegetable is done too. I marked the center of this piece and then I went 3 inches in both directions and I marked it, and I'm going to cut 1/2 inch square out of this, and that's where the fork lock will register to prevent the forks from sliding side to side. I cut all the metal to dimension and I grinded the rust, all paint and scales. Most of this metal was scrap metal. This part over here, it's going to be the rails for the forks. It's made from 3-inch by 1/2-inch thick stock. All the metal is 1/2-inch thick. This one over here, it measures 49 1/8 this way. This part over here, it's 10 inches. So from outside to outside, it's going to measure 16 inches. The inside part of the fork to inside is 16 1/8. I left 1/8 of inch room so these forks will fit easy. I put notches on the top rail. I started in the middle. I made this cut 5/8 wide by 1/2 inch deep. The reason for that, this lock over here, it measures 1/2 inch this way. So I made my slot to 5/8 this way. This will fit easy. I started in the middle and then I made the slot every 3 inches. I cut it with the angle grinder. It's probably easier to use the mill. However, I thought most of you don't have milling machine, and really it was easy using the angle grinder. This part over here is 3-inch wide by 1/2 inch thick. I slotted with the angle grinder, and this where the pin on the skid steer quick attach will go. 1.5 inch by 4 1/4 wide. About 4 9/16 from the edge. And both of these parts, they're going to measure 45 inches. I have to splice these two parts over here, and this is going to be the top part for the skid steer quick attach. This over here is going to be between the fork rails and the quick attach part. It measures 45 by 14 inches. This over here, 1.5 inch wide by 1/2 inch thick. These 4 over here, I cut them to 13 inches. This is 1.5 inch wide, 3 inch wide, 3 inch wide, 1.5 inch wide. Always, if you build any type of heavy duty equipment or attachment, make sure you grind or bevel so when you fill it with weld, it will be solid weld and it won't break. This over here, what's going to be attached to the tractor. These parts, they measure 19 inches. I made them 19 inches because I'm going to build it over here to 16 inches where the other part or this part over here will be welded. So the pin will not touch the ground and get loose if I put the fork all the way down. So the fork will hit the ground before the pin of the skid steer quick attach will hit the ground. It measures from inside to inside 45 inches by 19 inches. This over here is 2-inch stock, 3-inch stock, 3-inch stock, 3-inch, 3-inch, 2-inch. They all measure 19 inches. These over here, they measure 6 inches. They 3-inch stock. And these 3-inch stock, I cut them to 21 inches. These over here, they just tools I'm going to use to assemble this. These very straight 3-inch flat stock, I'm going to weld everything on them because my table is wavy. Any equal dimension angle, this one 3x3, if you put it flat on this surface or any surface, This degree and this one over here, or this corner and this corner, they will measure 45 degrees, because any triangle, the total angles will add up to 180 degrees. Since this is 90, both of these gonna be 45. So this over here 45 degree, and this is the top part of the quick attach. I cut these to 60 degrees, and when I weld the bottom part of the quick attach, I'm gonna use this as jig. It's going to be 120 degrees over here. I will get set up. I will tack the 3 layers of this frame, and then I'll assemble the whole thing. I put these 2 flat stock, and then I square this one, and I square this one to this one. So these 2 flat stock, or the tool flat stock, I'm not going to use them on the frame. They parallel to each other, and then I assembled all these pieces. It will measure 19 inches this way, 45 inches this way. Across, it measures 48 and 7/8. 48 and 7/8. I already look on the side of the table, and these are flat. They're not twisted like this. I'm going to tack them. I'll start over here where I put the ground. 1 tack all the way. I'll keep taking measurement, and then I will strengthen it and all that. Then I will build the part that go here and the one that goes here. Still read 48 and 7/8. I will tack it from inside. Now I need to splice these. I'm going to clamp them to this flat stock. Make sure they're perfect on one edge. I will tack it, flip it, and weld it all the way. Then flip it, weld it all the way from the other side and grind it, and this will go right here. It's perfect. It's seated all the way around. The angles over here, they look great. This one is parallel to this one, and this one over here is perfect fit. All the load for this frame going to be over here and over here at this part. Because when you put load on the fork, it's going to try to do this. So I will beef this part over here with the other metal. I only tacked it in place. I will not weld it all the way until I assemble the whole thing. This way the metal will add strength to each other to minimize warpage and flux and all that. This came out great. I grinded this piece at all surfaces. I kind of changed my idea on how I'm going to weld these. I'm going to weld them like this. And then I will weld 2-inch flat stock at 45 degree. And then another one this way. And this will be a guard if I carry a pallet with boxes and it's loose so they won't fall on the tractor. I dressed the table, dressed this flat stock, removed any weld material from them. And now I'm going to weld this. I originally thought to weld 2 pieces. However, the frame is strong enough by just tacking it together. So I think 1 piece in the middle is plenty enough. I tagged this together. It's measured 14 inch by 45. It's perfectly square. I'm going to weld it 1 inch from the bottom side of this frame, where this long piece go. I'm also going to use that extra piece that meant to go here, and I'm going to weld it over here in the middle and brace these two together. This way the frame will be very solid. I finished welding this part of the frame, these 2 layers. It came out real good. I tacked it in several spots, kept alternating the weld so it doesn't bend or bow. It's perfect. I still need to finish this. The fork tracks. I will do this tomorrow and then I'll weld it to the other part. I cut all the pieces for the guard out of 2" by ½ inch flat stock. This one and the other one, they measure 14.5 inches. This one measure 26 inches. This corner over here going to be about 140-degree angle. I also cut this 1.5" by ½ inch flat stock. I cut it at 45 and it's going to be welded over here and to the corner over here. From this corner over here to the top, it measures 11 5/8 inch. I'm also going to brace the frame. I cut this 1.5" by ½ inch flat stock. I grind it over here so it will go over the weld. And this will strengthen the track so it doesn't do this. And I cut 4 pieces of those. The track will be welded to the edge over here. I also cut this 1" by ¼ inch flat stock, and I'm going to weld it over here between these 2 pieces on both sides, and this should make the frame very strong. I grinded these. I'll show you how I'm going to put this together. I welded these. I still have to weld them on the side. Once I attach this to it, then I'll put it on its side to be able to weld the inside over here. Then I flip it the other way. This way the weld will be stronger and look prettier. I make sure these are flat, so when I weld the track, it will be perfectly parallel to this surface and it will be straight. I will finish weld this and grind it and clean it off camera. I'm going to have to flip it around to do all the welding and all that. Once I have it ready for this part, I'll start record again. I'll record when I tag this together and then when I attach this one to this one. This way the video won't be too long. I welded everything on the ground and I ground it and wire brush it and all that. I even added a weld up chain hook to it right in the middle. It's got too heavy, so I had to lift it with the tractor. I had to set the camera in this position. If I set it over there, the yellow shipping container will make the picture look dark. I have this one welded all the way. I hit it with the wire brush. It's clean. Because this over here is hard to reach area. Once I weld this on top of this, I won't be able to reach it to clean it and paint it. I have this one clamped all the way. This way it measures 16 inch and 1/32, little bit over 16 inches. All the way around it reads the same. Across it reads 51 and 5/8. 51 and 5/8, little bit over than 5/8, but it's read the same across. It's a clamp. I'm going to tack it. Flip it around. I'm going to weld 1 inch over here. I'm not going to weld it all the way because the metal may bow and do weird stuff. I will weld the area that's going to be hidden here. And then I'll grind it flat. And then I will set this one over here, clamp it. And then I will weld it all the way. I'll be able to finish weld the 2 inches from this side. Because this one over here, it's 4 inches wider than this. So I'm going to have 2 inches on each side. And I will be able to weld the bottom side, the 2 inches. And then I will weld the top all the way. I will tack it to this so it doesn't do anything weird. I will run the generator and I'll show you how I'm going to do it. It's perfectly flat. if you a new welder, you need to make sure you always keep your eye on your weld. When you tack something, a lot of time it will warp from the heat. So be careful. Keep checking it, tack it in small areas, and then weld it all the way. I welded about halfway because this over here will be hidden inside the frame. I could finish weld this from this side. I'm using this HYW rod, 1/8 inch 7018. I set the current little bit on the high end because I'm looking for some penetration. That's why you see a little bit undercut. However, the metal fused together and the weld look good. There is no porosity. Now I'm going to flip this way and set it on the frame, clamp it, and then I'll weld it all the way. I have 1 inch all the way around. I have 2 inch and 1/16 of inch. Same thing over here. This is all the clamps that I have. I wedge this angle over here because if I tack it over here in the middle, it's going to try to bring this in little bit. So I wedged it. I put it little bit over 16 inch and 1/32. Once I remove this wedge, it should be fine, and then I'll weld it over here. I tacked it all the way around. It's still perfect. It reads the same all the way around. Little bit over 16 inches. It came out great. I'm going to prime it. Once the primer dry, then I'll paint it black. Once the paint is dry, then we'll try it out. The pins will lock it perfectly, and the way I designed it, the fork will hit the ground before the pin hit the ground, because if this touch the ground may push it up, and this will unlock from the quick attach. This was an easy project, and I saved a lot of money, and I enjoyed filming it for you. The forks have just little bit of play. The paint not completely hardened. I didn't want to apply grease over here and that make the paint come off. I will touch this spot where the paint came off, and I'll wait about a month or so for the paint to harden, and then I'll apply some grease over here, and this should allow the forks to slide easy on the rails. I hope you enjoyed this video. I also hope you learned something from it. Thank you for your support, and thank you for watching, and I'll see you later. Take care.